Mai and I arrived at Poppy Hall the next morning, and it immediately became clear. Something changed. Posters drenched in nausea-inducing neon colors were plastered on the lockers. Several students gathered to take a look. Oh, my gosh. We walked over to one of the walls to get a better look. Is that Jared? When Mai didn't respond, I turned to look at her. The expression on her face told me that her mind wandered somewhere that would have made a call girl blush. Mai, you're drooling. That seemed to jolt her out of her fantasy. She lifted a sleeve to wipe away the drivel on her chin. I am not. What are these posters for? Well, last year Jared put on a fashion show. Looks like he's doing it again this year. I didn't know Jared was into fashion. Mai shrugged. He's not. I waited for some type of clarification.
He's so cute.
One time in biology, I saw him take off his sweater and his shirt kind of got stuck to it and pulled up, and I swear he had like 20 abs. I waited in vain.
Good morning.
Hello, ladies. Oh no. Mai and I whipped around. There Jared stood in all his glittering, magnificent glory. Mai's face turned to a blushing pink. The most beautiful guy in school. I see you're admiring my totally sweet posters. Yeah, they're really something, Jared. I like your abs. With sudden soul-crushing realization of what she had said, her expression twisted into a mixture of horror and disgust. Jared was unfazed.
Hana?
Thanks, but Hana, it was actually you I wanted to speak to. Why would you want to talk to me? Yeah, okay, what's up? Jared looked expectantly at Mai. She didn't move. Realizing she was in trouble, I nudged her with my elbow as subtly as I could.
Hey.
Mai, would you get me a soda? I'm really thirsty. Without a word, Mai scuttled away. Jared turned back to me, a cool glint in his eye. He seemed used to the effect he had on women. I wanted to talk to you about the fashion show, actually. You're new here and all, so you probably don't know, but every year I like to put on a little fashion show to showcase my modeling skills.
What?
Wait, what? You know, just to make sure people don't forget what I'm capable of. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a stack of glossy photos, and thrust them into my hands. I stared down at them in awe. I flipped through them, starting to notice a pattern. As you can tell, my beauty is something that simply can't go to waste. I like to hold a fashion show here at Asagao Academy to ensure everyone gets their yearly dose of pro Jared. I flipped to the last photo. Heat shot up my neck and into my ears. Surely this was some kind of joke? I shoved a stack of photos back at him, wiping my sweaty palms against my skirt. What does this have to do with me? Ah, that might have been a touch rude. Jared, as smooth as ever, simply smiled.
You're perfect.
I think you have potential, Hana. He suddenly leaned close to me, so close in fact that I could smell his cologne, a musky sweet aroma of earthy scents and ham? Potential for what exactly? Jared shifted his mouth so close to my ear I could feel its heat. For greatness. He reached into his shirt pocket and retrieved a small slip of paper. With quivering hands, I accepted it. My card. My number's on the bottom. If you're ever interested, I could teach you a thing or two about modeling. I stared down at the card in my hand, feeling that if I looked away, it would disappear. By the time I gathered the courage to face him again, Jared was gone. Feeling quite dizzy, I headed for class, the business card strangled to death in my white-knuckled hand. By the time I got through the milling students in the classroom, Mai was sitting at her desk, face down and completely still. I took my seat and twisted around to poke the dejected Mai-shaped heap. She didn't budge.
Hey.
Mai! I heard a muffled groan of despair.
I can't believe
I'm such a social disaster. No, you're not. I tried to sound comforting, but I was never good at this sort of thing. Mai finally lifted her head from her desk. What's that? She motioned to the business card that was still in my hand. I set it in front of her. Mai appraised it for a long minute with a blank face, as if I set a rare artifact in front of her that she didn't actually believe was real. Then her eyebrows pulled together. He gave you his number? Well, yeah. Sort of. I mean, not really. He said I should call him if I wanted him to teach me how to model like him. It was embarrassing to even say, and the words felt awkward in my mouth. The moment I said them out loud, I wished I could grab them back and swallow them. I expected Mai to give me a once-over before making an off-the-cuff comment about how I wasn't nearly pretty enough to be a model. But she didn't.
Yeah.
He, like, totally wants to get with you! Her tone was so matter-of-fact, I gaped.
What?
What? No, he doesn't. Why would you say that?
Bingo.
Okay, Hana, I've taken enough sex ed classes to know when a guy fully wants you, and Jared, like, fully wants you. Mortified, I snatched the business card back off her desk and shoved it into my jacket pocket, turning away. My cheeks felt like they were on fire. By now, the classroom was filled with students. They chattered amongst themselves, but the white noise of their conversation wasn't loud enough to drown my out. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see John and PBG seated in their desks at the back of the classroom. I'm talking serious grabby hands in the back of his dad's Camaro. Here. You're gonna make babies with Pro Jared, Hana. Little, glittering Jared babies. No, I'm not! You're totally crazy. I don't even know what you're talking about. Miss Shizuka, like some kind of angel, cleared her throat at the front of the class. I exhaled gratefully and sunk down in my seat. When class finally ended, Mai and I headed for the cafeteria. The incident forgotten in her hurried attempt to explain Miss Shizuka's scandalous last relationship. Seriously, he spent all this time trying to choose between her and some dead chick who only liked him because he looked like her ex-boyfriend. I mean, who does that? We got our food and hesitated in the middle of the room, looking at the normal boots table. Neither of us wanted to go up and demand a seat, especially after wiggling our way in the day before. What if they changed their minds? But Satch, noticing us standing like lost lambs in the middle of the room, waved us over.
Hey, girl.
How was class? Oh, you know, normal? Satch nodded and turned away, having been in the middle of talking to Josh. That was awkward. Despite how familiarly he treated me, I still didn't know how to talk to him, or any of them. I looked across the table and locked eyes with PBG, who stared at me like I was a baby German shepherd. You...
Alright.
Cookies!
What?
You brought us cookies! You're the best, Gerard! Paul sprang out of his chair and practically tackled Gerard. Whoa, calm down! There's more than enough cookies to go around! Gerard started passing the cookies out around the table, but paused. You're back again? He looked at Mai and me. I tried to ignore the disappointment on his face. Well, here. He handed us each a cookie, then headed back across the cafeteria. I stared at the small chocolate chips melting in the warm cookie. Did he not want us here? But he was so nice yesterday. I didn't even want to eat the cookie. Not if he was going to be as two-faced as that. Hey, watch where you're walking next time. A sheepish Gerard stood next to a short, skinny boy who was holding his tray above his head. I'm sorry. I'll be more careful. Oh, you're from Normal Boots. Wait, you're the guy who plays with itty-bitty kitties, aren't you? The boy sneered. How the hell did you manage to get in with a group like that? Huh? They're my friends. Playing with those stupid dolls. You're an embarrassment. The kid's friends were hitting his shoulders, looking from Gerard to our table with panicked eyes.
I like what I like.
I think they're fun. Whatever. The kid was let off by his friends, and Gerard came back and sat down at the table. That was weird. Gerard sat down and began happily munching on his cookie, looking for all the world like he didn't even care about what just happened. I scanned the cafeteria for the boy who heckled him and found him sitting alone at a table, head in his hands. His friends left him behind. What was that about? Oh, that? I used to get it all the time. I collect itty-bitty kitty figurines. You know, that kids show with the 5 kittens who live in Kitten Town? They were originally supposed to have magic powers, but whatever. I collect their figurines. They're so cute. I've almost got them all. I'm only missing Princess Pumpernickel. She's the rarest. But why was that guy making fun of you? Doesn't it bother you? I was afraid of bringing up bad feelings, but Gerard just shook his head. Looks kind of weird, right? A teenage boy collecting toys meant for little girls? But I like them, so I don't let it bother me. Sorry I didn't bring enough cookies the first time, Hana. I forgot that you were joining us again, but I'm glad you're here. I bit my lip. See, Hana, he was being nice the whole time, and here you were jumping to conclusions. Hey, your cookie will get cold if you don't eat it. I unwrapped the cookie. Scents of chocolate and cinnamon hit me. I broke off a piece and popped it into my mouth. Gerard whispered something into Nick's ear, who started laughing so hard milk came out of his nose. Was he really okay with people making fun of him? I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it. At my old school, people made fun of me every day. It was hell. There was no way he could just brush it off like that. Not when I tried so hard to do the same. But as I finished the cookie and started on my ramen, and Gerard continued to laugh at the rest of Normal Boots, I wondered whether it was as impossible as I always thought. Hana, can you pass me some pepper? I got it! Here, Jared! Thanks. What's your name again? It's Mai. Thanks, Mai.
Hana.
Well, Hana, ready to head back? Huh? Oh, yeah. Did Mai look sad, or did I imagine it? We threw our trays on the racks and headed out to the cafeteria. As we waved to normal boots and Gerard cheerily waved back, a sudden pang hit my stomach. Was it guilt? After class ended that day, Mai said she had volleyball practice and sped off. Thankfully this time I knew where I was going, so I headed straight back and collapsed on my bed. It was nice to have some time to myself, and after everything that happened, I felt like I was going crazy. I could use some relaxation. I didn't have a computer or a TV, and the book Satch gave me was really good, but sometimes got a bit hard to read. Instead, I took out my phone and started flipping through the App Store. Nothing really looked good. Oh wait, what was this? I sat up. Dumby Doom's Revenge. Face off against three other players as you catch monsters, raise them, and use their unique skills to aid you on your puzzle-solving quests. Only you can save Meta World from its ignorant king and utter destruction. Now with single-player campaign, raise crops to feed your monsters. If you're lucky, they'll transform into cute girls. What the hell? It looks so stupid. But it couldn't hurt to give it a try. Literally me playing app games. I downloaded and started up the game. Welcome to Dumby Doom's Revenge. I skipped the intro sequence and quickly hit single player. Loading. The load times are terrible. Suddenly, a cartoonish hilly valley met my eyes, panning over to a white castle nestled next to a cliff. A lazy king lay asleep on a throne when a squat silver soldier ran into the room. King Dumby Doom, quickly, we're under attack! Oh, just send the first battalion off, please, I'm rather tired. The knight left and the screen faded to a world map showing a horde of black blobs on the right side of the screen. A small group of knights ran up against the blobs and were instantly devoured. One of the black blobs spit out a helmet with a skull inside. What the hell is this game? Things continued in this way, with the king sending off his battalions haphazardly until no one was left. Then the king awoke in his chair and turned to the screen. You! Me? Only you can save my kingdom, please. I don't think I can save your kingdom. You're the one menacing it. How dare you? What the hell? Could this thing hear me? You are no longer my advisor. Go back to your home village and let me deal with this myself. A tiny sprite with brown hair flew across the world map, bouncing into a bunch of red houses. I guess my only choice is to raise an army of monsters myself, overthrow the king, then raise an army to fight the oncoming bloopity bloobs. How the hell did you come to that conclusion? I don't even know what's going on anymore. Finally, I was allowed to play the actual game. A dozen multicolored blocks appeared on the screen. The monsters I was initially given could only hit their corresponding colors and couldn't activate any traps. Supposedly, more monsters could eventually learn how to set traps, and you could do certain combos to hinder the opposing team. If you had an attractive girl on your team, she could use an ability to double the rate of your opponent's blocks or halve their clock time. But that had a drawback for you too, and could be used as an asset by the opponent. Not to mention that certain color combinations between girls and monsters activated unique secret abilities, and you could also evolve your monsters and feed them things. How the heck am I supposed to remember all this? I failed the first few times, but quickly got the hang of it. I was just about being adaptable and maintaining a flexible strategy after all. My eyes started to hurt, and I looked at the time. 8 o'clock. It had been 4 hours? I had reading to do. I grabbed my textbook, flicked my radio on, and began to read. There have been many tales of times when the moon has fallen on other planets, the most popular of these being the myth of Termina. However, these myths have never been proven to be more than a hallucination. My eyes blurred over my astronomy textbook, and I yawned. The Schubert piece floating in from my radio made me want to go to sleep, and I toyed with the idea of going to class without finishing my reading. Who cared how many times the moon was supposed to fall, especially when time travel was involved? Hana! Mai burst in through the door, flung herself across the room, and grabbed my radio. Hey, where have you been? What are you doing? Give me a second, we're missing it. There we go. But I swear, that dog was the living worst. That's why you need a bird, like my lovely Jacques. Watch your tongue. What is this? Shh.
Hey.
So, the time has come to make an official announcement. This year, just like every year, the Normal Boots Club will be participating in the video game tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah! As PBG... Sorry, I just got the mental image of PBG just sitting there recording this, just... As PBG applauded as though he were a crowd of 30 people, I shot a puzzled glance at Mai. I hope you guys will support us again this year, and best of luck to our competitors. You guys are going down, and now for some music. Mai turned on the radio and sighed. Okay, what did you want? What was that? PB&J. It's PBG's and John's radio show. They have a radio show? What do they do on it? Oh, you know, they talk and stuff, play music sometimes. Everyone at school listens to it. I'm so glad you bought your radio. I forgot mine at home. And a video game tournament? Yeah, didn't you hear them talking about it the other day? No. Come to think of it, I hadn't paid much attention to the conversation. I was too busy worrying about myself. Every year they have a game tournament down at Higanbana Mall. Lots of people come to compete, but everybody knows the real fight is between the Normal Boots Club and the Hidden Block Club. Is that what they do? Video game tournaments? Yeah, that's why nobody's ever joined them since their inception. Well, I guess partly they're a group of friends who just happen to make a club together, but also unless you're really talented, you just drag them down. Ouch. Not all of them are so harsh, but some of them, well... Mai glanced away, but I felt like I knew who she was talking about. That's too bad. The conversation I had with Jimmy and Caddy came to mind. Had they really thought I was joining the Normal Boots Club? There was no way. I had played a video game since I was a kid. My father gave me a 4DS when I left home, but... The night before I left home for Asagao, my dad came to visit me in my room. I'd packed a few things I owned into a briefcase in a single cardboard box set to be shipped up the train. I sat and stared at the box, somewhat bitter. I barely even needed it. I didn't own much. Anna? Yeah, Dad? My father stood in front of me, a weary smile on his face. Even though he tried to hide it, I could see the deep wrinkles around his eyes and forehead that he was tired, sad. The past few years had taken their toll on him and I hadn't eased things. You'll be leaving tomorrow. Yeah. A heavy silence hung between us, filling my childhood bedroom like styrofoam. Are you excited? Yeah. I am. I nodded and he glanced around my room at the pale blue walls, the broken clock above my old desk, the scuff marks around the doorframe from where I ran into it as a kid. I lived in this house almost my whole life, ever since moving after kindergarten. It was everything I knew, but now it was too much for me. The decision to transfer to Asagao didn't come lightly. First, it was a prestigious institution with a highly prized reputation. Only the best of the best, touting either great grades, impressive talent, or lots of money, could get in. I was none of those things, but I made it in regardless. Part of me suspected I was a charity case. I received a small scholarship, and it would no doubt look good for the Academy to have fostered a poverty-stricken child in its walls. And despite the fact that my father couldn't afford it, even with the scholarship, he guaranteed he'd support me if I went. I looked again at the wrinkles in his face, at his sagging shoulders. He pressed his hands against his body to hide the way they shook. All for me. He'd be all alone. I'm glad you're going. I think this will be good for you. Yeah. I wished I could say something else, but nothing came. Well, honey, just in case you get homesick, I brought a present for you. Present? From his pocket, my dad produced a shining pink Nintendo 4DS and placed it into my hands. For you. But... why? How? Dad, this costs so much. You're already killing yourself to let me go. Why would you... Tears spilled from my eyes as my dad smiled. Nothing is too good for you, my dear Hana. His voice was trembling. You're my pride and joy. You deserve so much better now that you've gotten from me. Dad, go to Asagao, have fun, make lots of friends. When you get homesick, you'll play that. I'll make do. I stood up and hugged him, burying my face in his scratchy sweater and oatmeal smell. I'll miss you. I'll miss you, my little Hana. But the thing is, he forgot to give me a cartridge to play with. Womp womp. Now I glanced at the machine hidden behind my desk lamp. Mai watched me carefully.
Well...
You never know what could happen. What? What do you mean? Nothing at all. But I just got back, so I've got work to do. Work, great. PBG and I still had that project due, and we hadn't met to discuss it at all. He said he had it under control, but I should probably make up a backup plan, just in case. It wasn't that I didn't trust him, it was just that... Okay, I didn't trust him. Sighing, I worked a kink out of my shoulder. It looked like it'd be a long night. Ugh, what was that noise? stop it, please. Ugh, I'm coming. Who on earth would do this so early? So early in the morning, in fact, it wasn't even light out. I quietly patted over the door, my shifted in her bed.
What?
It's about time. Who? Oh, honey. She pushed past me and swept into the room, flipping on the light switch. Paul and Nick followed after him. Hana, I just feel terrible for ruining your uniform. Sincerely, we owe you an apology and a clean uniform. I'm not so good at that kind of thing, so I brought a friend to help me. Josh pulled open my drawer and tossed out clothes left and right. Oh my god, stop! That's my underwear! What's wrong with you? I ran to him and grabbed his arm, trying to pull him away. These panties are so cute! They're perfect for you! Get away from there! Where's your uniform? I ducked below Josh and pulled open a drawer, pulling out the sticky fabric. Here, take it! I threw it at Josh's face, but he caught it with ease. This is no problem. I promise I'll have this clean in no time. Girls. He snapped. Follow me. Paul, Nick, and Josh swept from my room, but they didn't head towards the hall exit. Instead, they turned left, heading deeper into the dormitory. I didn't have a good feeling about this. I stepped into my slippers and ran into the hallway, just in time to see the door to the girls' bathroom close. Oh no. Oh, what are you doing in here? I sprinted to the bathroom door, but before I could get there, Paul and Nick slammed into the wall across from the door. Men like you are the worst.
Whoa!
No, this was all a misunderstanding, please. I'm sure it was. No, Mimi, it really was. Wait a second, where's the other, person who was with them? She's doing something with the uniform in the sink. Mimi tossed her head with a sniff and headed back into the bathroom. She actually thinks Josh is a girl? She wouldn't be the first. Josh himself believes he's a girl. That wig is magical. Well, stay out of the girls' bathroom. It's not exactly going to help your platform if word gets around that you're a pervert. A shadow fell over Paul's face. I sighed. Don't worry, I'll talk to Mimi. Go back to the boys' dorm.
All right.
Thank you so much, Anna. Yeah. I watched them scamper away, then headed into the bathroom. Hey, Joshua, Lena? You and I should probably get going. I rounded the corner and found him doing Mimi's hair. In a second, Hana, I've just got to finish this. Hana, have you met Joshua Lena? She's so good with hair. And look, she even got this stain out of the shirt. Mimi held up my uniform.
Really?
Thank goodness. Thank you so much. It's no problem, honey. I guess I'll let you finish. Mimi, you won't tell anyone about Paul and Nick coming into the bathroom, will you? Why wouldn't I? Well, as class representatives, they were just trying to help Joshua Lena get her bearings, and they were showing her where the bathroom was. I should have been the one to show her, but I was asleep, and they didn't want to wake me up. Oh, well, I guess it's fine then. Thank you. I stood at them. I stood staring at them, unsure of what to do next. Do you mind? I need to concentrate to finish this. Oh, I'm sorry. I went back to my room. Life at Asagao never got easier, did it? Mai was still asleep when I got back. There was no way I was going back to bed, so I changed into my uniform, grabbed my bag, and went to class early. My plan was to get started on the project Miss Shizuka gave us. As sincere as PBG was, I wasn't quite sure he'd hold up his end of the bargain. I stepped into the classroom and went to my seat, throwing my bag against my desk. A small snap came from across the room. Shane was at his desk, giving me a look. Do you mind? I'm trying to work. Oh, I'm sorry. I looked to the door. It was too late to leave, but I didn't want to be stuck by myself with a guy who clearly hated me. I sat down at my desk and looked at my hands. This is the quietest place I can find in the mornings.
Really?
Not the library? Shane shook his head. I see. I'll try not to bother you. He shook his head again. You're fine. Do whatever. It'd be awkward if I just sat there like that. So, what are you working on? Shane looked at me, and for a moment I thought he wasn't going to answer. Then he waved me over. I crossed the room to his desk and looked over his shoulder. Several sheets of paper with lightly sketched outlines lay in front of him. It looked like they were for comics? You draw comics? Yeah. What about? He shrugged. Whatever. He said it with a touch of finality, so I skipped to another topic. Do you mind if I ask where you're from? Could you not tell by my accent? I'm from England. This is my second year. Oh. He continued to draw, etching in the lines of the British flag above what looked to be the government building. Do you miss it? He finished shading a line before responding. I guess. My whole family is there. You're by yourself? Why did you come here? Class will start soon. Don't you have something to work on? Ouch. Taking the hint, I went back to my desk. Suddenly, the door slammed open.
Hey.
Look, we got here early. Wonderful. Oh, Hana, Shane. Looks like it's just the four of us. We should stir up some trouble. Trouble? Let's play an egg on Miss Shizuka's chair, eh? I bet you'd think it was hilarious.
No.
Come on. I bet we could find an exploding bird or two to dive bomb on us during class.
No.
I bet you could probably bake her a cake. Filled with knives.
Really?
The heck is wrong with you? Shane was more than an ocean away from his family and friends. I was only an hour or 2 hours away from my dad, yet I missed him so much. Was Shane homesick at all? Soon, other students filled the room and Mai joined me at my desk, asking why I abandoned her. I filled her in on the situation. She had a good laugh, but as the clock ticked closer to class time, I felt like something was missing. Eventually, I realized what it was. PBG wasn't in class yet. The bell rang. Miss Shizuka came in and class began, but still, he was nowhere to be found. Where was he? The real problem that causes grinding to be necessary in RPGs, if you ask me, is that the whole system is flawed. Miss Shizuka's on a tangent again. She must have gotten stood up. Class was nearly over and PBG still hadn't shown. I was worried, but no one else seemed to care. That kid always misses class. Still, what if he was sick? Why didn't anyone care? The sound of the bell, Miss Shizuka jumped. Well, turn in a 2-page reflection on why the human species as a whole has the emotional range of a teaspoon. Due tomorrow. She definitely got stood up. Miss Shizuka? I stood and dashed to her desk. Yes, Hana? PBG wasn't in class today, and I can take his notes to him if you need. Oh, Hana, you're a godsend. Miss Shizuka's eyes watered. She leaned over her desk and pulled me into a hug. It's wonderful to see our youth have hope. Hana. She pulled away and stared into my eyes. Don't give up on love. You're young. If PBG is the one you want, you have my blessing. Here, take these papers. She shoved the handouts from today's class into my hands and gathered her things. Bless your heart. She left the room crying. Poor thing, she must have really liked this one. Does this happen often? Often enough. So you're taking that to PBG? Yeah, but now that I think of it, I don't know his room number. 402. How? It's next to Jared's room, so of course I'd notice him leaving in the mornings. I've got tryouts, so I won't be able to go with you. Good luck, though. I'm sure he'll be happy to see you. I told you, I don't think he feels that way. Before I could say anything more, she left the room. 400, 401, 402, here it is. I paused in front of his door, my heart in my throat. I suddenly felt horribly stupid about bringing this to him. It wasn't even like he would look at it. He said himself that he hated school. But what if he was dying in there? John went to the drama club. He wouldn't be back for a few hours. Sucking it up, I knocked on the door. Who is it? It's Hana. I brought some notes from... The door swung open before I could finish my sentence. PBG beamed down at me.
Hana.
Hi.
Hey.
Come in, come in. Thanks. I stepped into a messy room. Posters lined the walls and small Harvest Noon plushies were piled up on one of the beds, which I assumed to be PBG's. A TV was on the front center of the room. Turby twinkled happily from the pause menu. You were playing games? Huh? Oh, yeah. PBG closed the door behind me. I didn't feel like going to class today, so I thought I'd stay in and do some work. Work?
Well...
We do have a tournament coming up, so this kinda counts. I brought you the stuff we went over in class. Oh, thank you. He took the papers out of my hands and set them on the desk next to a small stack of manga. I'm glad you're feeling well. Were you worried I was sick? Sorry. But that's adorable, so I'm kinda happy about it.
What?
Do you wanna hang out? We have to work on our project at some point anyways, right? Well, I didn't really have anything else planned. Great! He plopped into a beanbag and slapped a pillow down next to him. Do you want to play? No, I'm not too good at games. I think I'll just watch. Okay then. He unpaused the game. Turby sprinted across the screen, shooting fireballs from his mouth. PBG and I didn't talk much. Instead, I commented on the game and laughed at him when he died. Before I knew it, the sun was setting and I had to leave. You're welcome back anytime. Actually, we're having a Stomp Sisters tournament in 2 days. You can come if you want.
Really?
Sure.
See ya.
Awesome. It'll be at noon. I'll see you there. I left the dorm and stepped out into the fading sunlight. The air was warm, filled with the smell of freshly cut grass. I couldn't put my finger on it, but something about being around PBG was comforting. Shaking my head, I went back to the dorms.
Hey.
Mai, how did tryouts? Hana, close your eyes, don't move! Before I could flip on the light switch, something warm collided with me and my eyes were covered. What's going on? Stop squirming, you'll ruin it. Ruin what? Just follow my lead, okay? Mai guided me through the room, telling me where to step. Down? She put her hand on my back and folded me in half, inching me into something that felt like it had a roof. Almost done. What exactly is going on?
Yay!
And ta-da! I gasped. Mai, what is this? What does it look like? It's a pillow fort. I've been looking forward to doing this for ages. Tryouts already happened. I made the team easy. I left early because I wanted to set this up for you. For me? Well, for us. You've been such a good friend to me, Hana. I'm so glad we got to be roommates. I wanted to do something for you to make you feel more at home. I've seen how panicked you can be going around school. I don't know what happened in your life, but Asagao is your first start, right? You've got me, you've got the school, and normal boots too. If you're up for it, this can be your new life. You don't even have to look back. And now, this is when we can play. Mai.
Yeah!
I knew it! totally knew you were gonna cry.
Perfection.
I guess this means I was successful. Mai, you've done it again. Mai! I slammed her into a hug. Be careful! You don't want to break it. This took me forever. Mai, I was bullied at my old school. That's why I came here. And it was only because my dad gave up everything to afford it. I thought you wouldn't like me and have a hard time trusting people. But if you wanted to, I think we could be best friends? Oh god, no, I'm gonna cry.
Yay!
Yes, let's be friends. I'm so happy. Me too. Together we're unstoppable. I'll say. Let's hook you and Jared up. Wait, I can't even speak to him without self-destructing. It's fine. There's no way he couldn't fall for you. Oh yeah, and no one's caught your eye yet? Huh? I'd say there's more than a few suitors on your horizon. Aren't you gonna give it a shot? Me? Dating? My eyes shifted across the fort Mai made, the stuffed rabbit sitting on my bed, the window with the view of Asagao's manicured lawn. My life changed so much so quickly. You know, maybe I could.
Yeah!
Aw, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Well, I prepared some activities for us to do. Look. She pulled up a tablet and opened an app. We're gonna marathon you through Avatar. I don't know. Too late. She pressed play. As evening faded into night, we huddled into the blanket fort, watching episode after episode and messing with each other. Happier than I'd been for a long time, I rested my head on my shoulder. Before I knew it, I'd fallen asleep.